Hello, you all. Thanks again for serving on the Child Development Advisory Committee for the Sparks campus. This is going to be our fall meeting for 2022. We'll actually have an in-person meeting for the spring. So I certainly appreciate it again, you taking your time out of your busy schedules to serve on our committee, and your input and participation are greatly appreciated. So we're going to get our meeting started. I am going to share my screen with you and pull up our meeting agenda. So let me get that going. I'm sorry. Let me pull it over here. It's not. There we go. Okay, so you will have, of course, the link to this YouTube video to watch the meeting, and then the meeting will follow right along with the packet that I'll also attach in your email. So first of all, let me just introduce who all our members are for this school year. Tina Richards, who's the principal of Eufaula Primary School. Melody Smith, who is a child development graduate of the Sparks program and a kindergarten teacher at Eufaula Primary School. Adrian Jackson, who is the first teacher coordinator for Eufaula City Schools. Tiffany Brown, who's the Human Resources Director for the Southeast Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission. These folks are in charge of the Head Starts in our area. Samantha Weathers, who is the Eufaula City Schools parent liaison and assistant principal at the primary school. Julie Salter, a first grade teacher at Eufaula Primary School. Katie Moore, who is a kindergarten, a pre-K 3-year-old teacher and director of the Lakeside Preschool. Sharon Peterson, the Boys and Girls Club of Lake Eufaula director. Courtney Green is a pre-K teacher at Eufaula Early Learning Center. And Tara Scott, I hope, will soon be joining us, as she is now the director of the Eufaula Early Learning Center. If you notice on the information sheet with a list of all of our members, if anything is incorrect, if you would just take an opportunity and send me an email back with any kind of correction to your information, I will update that on our member list, okay? Our next order of business is to approve our minutes from the spring. We were... if you want to just read over, we had a quorum for our meeting, and so if you want to just read over, and please send me your just an email saying that you approve of the minutes, that will be great. Our next order of business is the purpose and the role of our advisory committee. I have attached the Wallace Community College Advisory Handbook for you to look over, and it's tells of the purpose of our advisory committee, the guidelines, the functions of our committee, but ultimately your role is to assist in helping me ensure that the child development program stays current, up to date, that you provide me with any kind of information that I might need in order to appropriately train our students so that they are ready to go when they get into the workplace. So any input, as I stated, your input is invaluable. I love when we meet in person because we have such great conversations, and usually what comes from them is something that I turn around and implement into my programs. And so, like I said, your input is invaluable, and I appreciate it more than you know. So you can certainly read through this handbook, and it's attached for you to do so. We will need to have a chairperson of our advisory committee. Okay. I cannot serve as the chairperson. However, I will be happy to serve as the recording secretary. Now, with that being said, it is very easy for me to funnel all of the things for the chairperson and just get you some information prior to the meetings. But of course, I will lead the meeting and record as we go as a recording secretary role as well. So if anybody would be interested in serving in that capacity, basically just on paper, then please send me an email and we'll name you the chairperson, and we'll go on from there. This is our program of work. This is basically what our strategies are and our objectives for our committee. You will notice that we have a target date of completion for all of our objectives. And really, this is kind of our framework, okay, what we use to go through as we are looking at our advisor committee and the child development program in general. I have updated it for the 2022-23 school year. We typically keep it the same and just alter our dates. What you have next is our budget for the excuse me, let me talk to you first about some old business. We had in our fall and spring meeting of last year, I informed you of a proposal that was for adding a Head Start here on the Sparks campus of Wallace Community College. That whole program and plan was designed by who at the time was the director of the Head Start. His name was Cersei. And Cersei has left the Southeast Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission to take another job. And so when he did, that that kind of went with him. So hopefully they have a new member. I mean, they have a new director in place. And so hopefully we'll, maybe those talks will happen again and we'll be able to look at some sort of partnership with Head Start in the future. But I wanted to let you know where we stood because that was something we were all very excited about. But I wanted to let you know at this point, it's kind of off the table. One positive, though, was our Perkins funds for last year. We submitted for last year to get an interactive clear touch board so that our students would be very familiar with using those in the classroom. So when you all hire them, they because all of you have those in your classrooms, that they know how to work them. And so I am pleased to say that we now have an interactive board, clear touch board in our child development lab, and we are getting used to it and starting to use it. So we're very, very proud of that. So, and also our lab area, I can't wait for you all to come when we meet in the spring and for you to see the transformation of our classroom. We have not gotten any more space, but we have used our space a little differently. I am still working on adding more space, and we'll talk about that when we get on down to new business. So let's hit new business. This is our child development budget for the 22-23 school year. You'll see we have materials and supplies, memberships, and printing and binding. We are also looking for Perkins funds for this upcoming year, and we added a new course called CHD 222. It's teaching social studies, and so we have submitted for the materials you see in front of you here to enhance our CHD 222. So that is what we're turning in for this school year for our Perkins funds. The next attachment are the course offerings we have for spring of 23. This is a combined schedule for both the Dothan and the Eufaula campus. You will see anywhere that says MRF. Of course, those are the ones that we are offering in person. we're really proud of the offerings that we're being able to do. We're expanding a little bit and trying some new things in order to meet the demands that you all have. One thing that has happened and will continue to drive a lot of our scheduling is the new STARS, the new Quality STARS program for home daycares and daycare centers. There is a nice incentive for DHR facilities to become STAR rated. And in this, it requires some certification of your employees. So through the Leadership in Childcare Scholarship, we have a lot of individuals who have applied to start our program in the spring. So as soon as we get confirmation that those scholarships have been accepted and those students have been accepted into the program, then we'll be able to look at our spring schedule. I'm really tickled about it. I think all in all, for the Leadership in Childcare Scholarship for starting in the spring of 23, I think I submitted somewhere around 20 applications. So that means 20 current employees of a DHR licensed facility, daycare, preschool, home daycare, are all interested in coming back to school to become certified, which I think is fabulous for our profession. So I'm really excited about that and to see where the future of that will take our program, and also the level of expertise that we'll be able to put back into our centers. So I'll keep you updated on that. And hopefully when we meet in the spring, I'll be able to give you a little bit more update about how that is looking and how many students we actually gained from that. So I will certainly keep you posted on that. One thing I really would like to add, interject here is in new business is we need, now that we've kind of, you know, we're not so restricted anymore with COVID and that kind of thing. I really want us to get back into our field experiences where we're going back into the schools and actually working with teachers and working with children through those lab experience type of opportunities. As you remember from last year, we now have all of our students have a background check. They all are cleared on the CAN registry, which is the Central Child Abuse and Neglect Registry. They all have a TB, tuberculosis skin test and letters of recommendation. So we are taking those steps here on the Wallace campus in order to ensure that when we come into the schools, we meet all the criteria as your teachers and assistants would have to. So we're really excited about that piece too. And hopefully that will take, you know, a little bit of the burden off of you in screening our students. So anyway, I will be reaching out to you all in the next couple of weeks about setting up some dates that we can actually come in and do some lab experience work in your school. So you'll be all getting an email from me pretty soon about that because I want to go ahead as I am creating our spring schedules and course calendars to go ahead and have those already built into the spring schedule. So if you can think of any other field trip ideas, opportunities where you could actually come into our classroom and as a guest speaker, I welcome that. I would love to have you. One thing we also talked about from new business, we discussed in the spring or in the fall of last year was conscious discipline. I am writing a professional development grant for some conscious discipline training for myself so that I can then in turn put that into some of our courses as well. So I wanted to update you all on that as well. The next item in your packet is the advisory committee member survey. If you wouldn't mind, I will send this separately to you. If you will just fill this out for me. If you have not been on our campus, just which I think most of you have been here. As I said, our classroom space is small. Okay, we are we're still in the same room we were in. I've restructured the room a little bit, but it's still very small. So I would say it is maintained. However, from a lab area / classroom, it is not large enough for student needs. Classroom furniture, it's great. We are getting there through our birth B2 grant that we wrote. We are putting in a lot of new materials into our classrooms. Our classroom furniture is mirrors probably what you see in your pre-K classrooms. As I said, lab space, it is well maintained. However, it is very small for the number of students because our classroom space and our lab space are one and the same. Okay. Faculty office, it's great. It works fine. My office furniture and equipment, they're fine. The restroom, it's fine. We have equipment that's available to us, and it's adequate for our needs. The condition and our equipment condition is in great as well. Our instructional technology, materials and books, etc., all of that is fine. And truly, our program budget is probably average, I would say. We do have some things that we are going to have to address throughout this year, especially keeping our subscription to Gold. Once our grant that we wrote, when we wrote that Teaching Strategies Gold grant, that gave us access to the portal for 3 years. But once those 3 years are over, then that's going to have to be a piece that's going to be built into our budget so that we can continue to use that in our classes. So that's a little thing that's a hurdle we're jumping over right now and trying to make a plan. We're starting year 2 actually of the grant. So we have some time to make sure that we get that set before the grant runs out. So that is the end of the packet and would conclude our meeting. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it is not too awful long and you find some of the information, something that you could use and figure out ways in which you could assist in our program. So like I said, we look forward to teaming back up with you in the spring and coming into your schools through a lab experience. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and please don't ever hesitate to call on me should you need anything. Of course, our partnership is invaluable, and if there's ever anything I can do to assist you, please let me know. Again, thank you so much and have a great week.